Howdy, and welcome back once again to the Withlacoochee River Railroad. This is not the report. No, what this is today is it's Weathering 101, actually. That's how I'm going to show you today how to turn the car. And I figured, okay, well, I've got these cars down for repair. I might as well put some character onto them, right? How about we take and turn this car into this car. Oh yeah, that looks a little bit more realistic, doesn't it? I'm going to show you how that's done just as soon as we come back from the intro. Okay, we're back, and I've got the trucks right here. I have KD couplers on hand. So what I will do is get these sitting there. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a little bit of what we call eye makeup. Now this is one I've had for years. It's only got 3 colors in it. This is one I just picked up, I guess, last week. I've got more in the house somewhere. I've got a Raven makeup, just one little thing of eye makeup, and it's called Raven. I gotta go find me another one. It's a black, and that comes in extremely handy. It's almost a charcoal black. This one I think I picked up over the weekend at Walmart. What you don't want too much metallic colors if you're going to use eye makeup to do this with. What you want is earth tones, blacks and grays, which the blacks and grays just aren't popular right now, so you're not likely to find those at Walmart or any of the other major retailers. You'll probably find those at some place like Sally Beauty Supply, places like that. Around Halloween time, they have those makeups to, turn yourself into ghouls, and they've got all the blacks and the grays and stuff then too. One of the secrets to weathering is you got bright colors on the sides, which is typical of the old billboard reefers, or in this case, a private owner reefer. Remember in 1923 or 1933, the United States Railroad, or whoever was in charge at the time, decided to make it illegal for railroad-owned cars to have all these graphics, or have the private owner reefers are one thing. Can you imagine though you're selling Joe's Meats and then they send you an Armor Reefer? You know, can you imagine to ship your product in? That doesn't look too good. But you want to use primarily the darker colors on the bright colored car. On the darker colored, like on this Reefer Brown here, you'll want to use lighter colors. That makes it actually stand out. Now your blacks come in on, and you would use that, your blacks and your grays and whatnot. They do fine, and they kind of make everything mix in. Right now I don't have any blacks and grays, but you just kind of work. You want to work up from the bottom a little bit, since this is the stuff that actually bounces up. As you can see, it brings out a lot of the detail too, doesn't it? You know, switch colors. And you can go to lighter colors, as you can see right there. And toward the top, you're going to want to use a little bit lighter shades anyway, more just dusty type shades. Where along the bottom and along the roof, or along the bottom of the car, you want to use heavier shades. You want to use the rustier colors, like underneath here. And if the trucks were on the car, that's what I would be doing with those as well. As you can see here. Okay. As you can see here. And it brings out the detail in the trucks. It does a beautiful job of that. I'm looking at the orientation of the camera here, and it's okay. As you can see, it brings out the detail in the truck. And don't be afraid to use more than one color. This isn't like an airbrush where if you got to change the color, you know, you got to clean the airbrush each time and stuff like that. Now, I will show you how to do some weathering with the airbrush. I'll show you how to do some weathering with a spray can, with a rattle can. But you know, the trucks are usually very rusty, and even though they're large castings, they're not going to fall apart with rust. Do tend to, and try to go gentle on, because I've never found these. They're great, they work great, but I've never found. I'm sure you can. Now, of course, I've never really done any extensive shopping at Sally Beauty Supply either. And don't be afraid to touch it. You're not going to get your fingerprints in the dust. But you can see how the details start to come out. And dry brushing is also another alternative. Yes, as you get around these standalone or standout details, the added-on detail parts, often you're going to have trouble getting in and under them. Just work it gently, and it will work itself out. All right, let's get a little bit more of the. darker stuff along the bottom of the car here. So you got this frame down here along the bottom of the car. You want to get that dirtied up a little bit. You'll want to rust the frame up a little bit too, because, you know, back in the day they just didn't have the technology that kept stuff from rusting. This stuff can it's a little time consuming, but it's well worth the effort. It really is. And like I said, I enjoy doing this with the eyeshadow. Like I said, the added on details will kind of give it away. You just got to have a little patience and work it on in there. And as you can see, the car begins to take on a life of its own. And you can clearly see the difference in your weathering patterns from over here to over here, where we haven't done much yet. But you just keep working on it, little by little. Some you know, lighter colors down here on the bottom as well, you know, where it's but it's kind of, you know, this is kind of fun because you're sitting there, you know, just like if you were using chalk powders, you could sit here and of course, as you can see, you'll get a little bit of dirt and mess under the car as well. You don't want to do too much under the car. You just want enough that it'll be noticed that, hey, there's weathering under there too. And again, you can mix your colors just like you can with paint. And here in a little bit, we'll take this car out and we'll look at it in the sunshine. I realize the lighting in here isn't all that great. And you may want to weather one car a little lighter and another car a little bit heavier, or one end heavier and one end lighter. So, but the car should end up nice and dirty looking. And yes, this does stick to the car. And you know, the more you actually handle the car, the more realistic that weathering tends to get. So this type of weathering. So if it doesn't look that good to you, you know, at the start, it might start to look that good to you, you know, in a couple of years if you handled the car enough. Because the stuff, it's got an oil base to it, so it all makeup does. It has kind of a light oil base to it, and what it does is it sticks. But it doesn't stick so perfectly that, you know, it's solid that way, like, you know, once you do it with paint, you know paint's going to stick. And getting in between the ladder here can be sometimes a little bit of a hassle, but not impossible. It's just a fact of life here. On this one, I'm using a little bit darker to work it in. But you can tell you've had to weather around a ladder a lot of the time. That's, again, just something that's fact of life. Not much we can do about it. Unless you want to take the ladders off, weather it, and then put the ladder back on. You'll also want to weather the ladder while you're at it. Alrighty. That side looks pretty darn good. Now we come to the roof. The roof, it's just one of those things. Now, I'd already weathered the other side of this car before I got started running video here, so. And like I said, the car is apart at the moment. The trucks are off of it. Like I said, this car was unfortunately dropped. It was knocked off of the table the other day when I was moving a bundle of track to get ready to start filming something or videoing something. And I knocked it right off, popped the screws and the bosses right out of the car. And that's why I ended up, oh boy. You know, there's you know, that old slogan, model railroading is fun. Yeah, I thought the same thing too. I said, yeah, it's so much fun, it actually teaches you how to cuss. Like I said, you'll also use the darker colors on the darker colors, but the lighter colors of eye makeup actually show up when you're using them on the darker, like this reefer brown. At least that's what Atlas probably calls it. And you can use paint brushes to apply it. You do not always have to have paint brushes can apply this stuff. Okay? Sometimes it's got a better application via the paintbrush than what you'd ever get via the some of that older makeup is kind of powdery now. So it's not going to stick quite as well as the newer makeup. I do need to also, when working around these ladders, the brush might actually do you a better job than the applicator. I like using the applicators for certain things. But the brushes will also eat up a lot more makeup. Now, different parts of the car probably actually weather a little different, especially if they're dissimilar materials, like a difference between wood and steel. Steel, a lot of the time, will rust or get surface rust on it, whereas the wood will just, the paint will flake off and you'll have wood showing through or wood chips showing through. So, you know, it's just the way you work it. So, we've basically got this side of the car done. We've got the roof kind of done. Again, I need to go and get me some black makeup to actually, you know, like some, they call it Raven or something like that, you know, because it's got to be a fancier sounding name because it's eye makeup. You know what I mean? So what I'm going to do here, now the ends, they will probably dust up a little bit differently than I don't just love it when parts don't want to stay in one spot. All right. It doesn't take much to do the ends, usually, because, well, you don't have a whole lot on the end. I've got one of the stirrups broken off on this car. Don't feel like making another one, so I don't think anybody will really notice. As you can see, it doesn't take much to get the car weathered up. And this has been a fairly short video, I know. So, I'm going to go ahead and finish up this end. This here end is the A end of the car, or don't have a brake wheel and staff on this end. And maybe this car just doesn't get weathered as much. Again, get your ladder and get as much under the ladder as possible. So, there we have it, and that's how it is done with eye makeup. And let's go ahead and take a look at it in the sunlight, shall we? Okay, now you can see what it looks like out in the sunshine. And it didn't turn out bad, did it? And the reason I showed it to you in the sunshine, you got to remember we did it inside the train room, and the train room isn't that well lit today. So I don't have the lighting system in there that I kind of wish I did, but you know, I ain't a rich man, so. And both sides and ends have some weathering on them. The car does not look that bad. It looks like it's mainly got a little dirt on it. You know, the car is well maintained, but has dirt on it. So, as you can see, she doesn't look bad. And it is the same thing. Oops. Oh, that figures. Same thing with this here truck. Yeah, that's the car that fell, so the brake wheel is loose now, so I got to fix that. But you can see that the truck looks pretty good as well. And that is our lesson for the week on weathering. If you like this program, be sure and like and share. Be sure you like, and you can comment on it. You can cuss me out for it. If you don't like it, you can still cuss me out for it or whatever. But hey, I'm going to do things my way, just like you're probably going to do things your way. Until next time. Now, did you honestly think I was going to end this video without running a train showing the fully weathered car? And there it is. And it looks pretty good, even next to the clean one. Well, tell me, you think it's going to be okay? The car is rolling okay. I had to use some American-made screws. To hold the trucks on. I had to use a little bit different screws to hold the couplers on. But she's rolling along now. Yep, the car is going to be fine. I'm glad you joined me for this episode of Weathering 101. And I look forward to you coming back again to Weathering 101. This will be number 1. Don't know what we're going to weather next time. Making the stuff look good by making it look old. Yep. Like I said, if you like the content, be sure to subscribe, share, hit the bell for notifications so that, you know, anytime I have a bright idea, you'll be the first to know. Until next time, happy railroading.